Thank you everyone for joining the webinar this evening. There are about 6 new LeagueOne migrations that we wanted to cover this evening. 3 that mostly revolve around the new Player Pass paper, the new Player Pass format, and then the photo upload feature. I did do the Player Pass mailings, I think last Wednesday, so you should all have received your Player Passes in the mail as of late last week or early this week. So you're already familiar probably with the format here, with what they look like. But basically an overview of the new passes, you can see that the format is a little bit different. The key differences are that the photo will now be going on the front of the pass. It'll be placed in this spot right above the age group here. So that'll kind of help with the credentials check-in process to have the photo right next to the vitals and all the information fields. Secondly, the size is somewhat different. The new passes are the exact size of a credit card. So for those of you out there that buy special protectors, special little laminating pockets, they are just a little bit different. I think they're just a little bit shorter, but then a little bit longer than the old format. And then additionally, the new passes differ in that there are 10 per page, and all 10 passes are going to be a separate player's pass, whereas with the old format here allowed you to have the member pass here, which was given to the coaches, and then you had this duplicate blue membership card, which if clubs wanted to, they could pass out to the player. So that actually, unfortunately, is no longer available, as all 10 fields are a separate player's pass. And then as far as printing and distributing the new passes, just wanted to remind everyone again that the new passes aren't valid until August 1st. So just kind of have been advising registrars to hold off on printing, not so much printing, but distributing until as late in the month as possible, just to kind of prevent early use of the passes before they're actually valid. And I think that's all with the pass paper. So from there, I'll go ahead and go into LeagueOne. So within LeagueOne, I've got a team pulled up, an example team here that actually has uploaded most of their team's photos. So you can see here, this is actually what the system looks like with the photos uploaded into LeagueOne. And then you can see down here, this player, Brent, at the bottom here, he actually doesn't have a photo uploaded yet. So this is actually what it will look like when you set up your teams before they actually have their photo upload. There's a new photo column down here, and then actually all the players will say upload photo. That's how you know the photo is needed if it's not showing up. So in order to upload a photo, you'll just click on the hyperlink here, upload photo. And this populates the photo upload window. So you're basically just going to click browse. You're going to select your photo. JPEGs are great. That's usually the best photo format. And it actually will tell you here in the upload photo window what the acceptable formats are. When you go to click upload photo, when the window pops up, it actually will tell you right here, file type must be either JPEG, JPNG, .png, or .bmp. And then it must not exceed 3 megabytes. So in most cases, you should be fine uploading photos. If for any reason you do have trouble with the size of the photo, you can always give me a call and I'll walk you through how to decompress photos and make them a little bit smaller so that they upload more easily. But if you are interested in going to the work of uploading your players' photos, I would suggest maybe either having your coach collect them on a disc, a CD, or maybe have a thumb drive passed back and forth for people to put their pictures onto or something of that nature. Or you can always use email too. It might be a good idea to implement a naming convention and have the parents actually, or the coach, put the player's name as the file name of the photo so that you know who everyone belongs to. And I'll just use this as an example. So you pull up the photo you want, click upload, and that'll bring that into a window. If you do need to crop, we'll say if this photo was a little bit further away and you wanted more of a close or tight headshot of the player, it actually does have a crop feature for you. So you can kind of play around with this. It is a little bit touchy, so you kind of have to play around with it to get it placed in exactly where you want it, but just to give you an idea here, we'll crop in on the head. We'll say that's the selection we want. So then you just hit the crop button here, and then it crops it for you. And then all you do is click close. And then you'll see here that the photo is automatically populated into LeagueOne. So once you're ready to print your passes, and actually I'm gonna go back here and show you another example. We'll say if you're collecting photos, that you've got a bunch of photos to keep track of and you accidentally uploaded the wrong player's photo, you can always change it. So you just click on the player's photo. Then we can go back and select an alternate photo, hit open, and then upload. And this is a photo to where it's a good example of using the crop feature. So we'll say this is actually a group photo of 3 different players, but we just wanted the one player, a close, tighter headshot of this player here. So we'll go ahead and use the crop tool here, make our selection, hit crop, close. You'll see it accepted the change here. So since this is just a test, I'm actually going to go back and delete this photo. Hit close. And then I'll show you an example of what the passes look like with the player photos uploaded into the system and for those players who do not have a photo uploaded into the system. So the process is basically almost exactly the same as before. So we'll say we want to print all of the player passes for this team. So we're just going to do select all, go down to print pass. And then here is the key difference. In the past, we always used to default and use the Nebraska Player Pass. Nebraska Player Pass is the old pass format here, the 4-pass sheet. The new pass that you're always going to want to default to is a new 10-player USYS pass with photo upload. So you'll always select that. And then one of the things that's still in the works with Active Network that they still need to turn on for us is actually increasing these options here to go up to 10. So you can actually start print row on 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So what that allows you to do is go back in and kind of get further use out of your player pass paper, meaning that if you had a sheet that actually only printed out 7 or 8 rows of passes, you can actually start it on 9 or 10 and just make your player pass paper last a little bit longer that way. So we'll just go ahead and say start print on row 1, hit print, and then it's going to populate the same PDF document as before, so it shows you a preview of what your player passes are going to look like. And then here you can see we have all but one player had their photo uploaded into the system. So then you can see here this Brent, his pass is going to print without a player ID. We in no way are mandating the photo upload feature. You can definitely, clubs are definitely still allowed to do the old school way of actually cutting out a picture and then gluing it onto the photo pass just as was done before. It's going to be really easy and a seamless thing for the clubs that are out there that are using Club Reg. With Club Reg, the parents can actually, when they log in to register their child, they can actually upload their own child's photo into the system, and from there it automatically bridges from Club Reg over to LeagueOne. So it automatically populates for those clubs, so it's going to be virtually no work for those clubs. For the clubs that aren't using Club Reg, it's going to be probably a lot of work for the registrar to collect digital photos either via email or so for those clubs out there that don't have access to Club Reg, that aren't using it, it may be more efficient for you guys just to go ahead and do it the old way of pasting pictures onto the passes the old way. So it's up to you, but we just definitely wanted to cover this process since it's a new feature, it's out there, it's available for your use, but definitely not mandated. So from there, I'll show you an actual printout of the player pass page. Oh, and actually before I do that, there are 2 functions on the print window that you'll want to make sure that you deselect from the print window. So once you go to print, it's important that you go into this page scaling here, make sure this is actually set to none. And then sometimes this auto rotate and center box is checked. This was actually checked for me the very first time I printed these passes. And what it was doing, it was making the lining a little bit off from what the pre-printed information was next to the printed information. So we figured out the best way to get this to fit is to actually make sure this page scaling is set to none, and then auto rotate and center should not be checked. So you'll want to make sure that's done. And then your printed result will look something like this. So these are the new printed passes. I did want to mention that I do have a black and white printer. That's all I have. I don't have a color printer. And if that's all you have too, that's completely fine. Black and white photos are acceptable. You do not necessarily need to print in color. The player pass photo actually does follow the player if he's transferred over from team to team. So you can see here he's transferring in and his photo automatically populated here.